Well, right now we're starting with a wild no call here, Al. Brunson might be holding on to Wemby's jersey, but not anymore because Wemby shoves him. No call. Your reaction to either Brunson or the play, Al?
All right, so I'm gonna start with, for me, from Wemby, being that he's a European player and all that. I actually like him, man. He's a dog. He's a dog. Because not only after he throws him to the ground, he turns around and says whatever, and he laughed at him.
Smiling, yeah.
Yeah, he laughed. He ha, 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 ha. But if I'm on the Knicks and I'm Mitchell Robinson or I'm anybody that can do something about it, my blood is boiling today. Like, it's no way you're going to handle my best player like that and laugh about it after. Like, next game, I'm sending a message.
It's one thing to
but
do it.
why
Jose
they didn't do
Alvarado.
anything this game?
Maybe they didn't see it. That's all I could think of.
Josh took it out on Luke
All I'm
Cornett.
saying, they must didn't see that. But after I'm seeing this all day, think about back in the day, Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller had the Davis brothers, right?
Oh, yeah.
Patrick Ewing, he had Anthony Mason, he had Charles Oakley. You don't touch the best player on my team. You don't touch him. He's off limits. And if I'm in that role where, we don't need Mitchell Robinson to score. We need him to be our enforcer. So all I'm saying is tomorrow, Wemby better feel something from somebody on the Knicks, period. Because this is New York. Last thing I'm going to say. This is New York City. We do the punking. You don't let nobody, people can't even walk around with San Antonio jerseys,
that
bro.
part's too much.
What are we talking
that
about?
part's too much.
No, I'm just saying, but that's who
I'm
New
pulling
York
for the
is.
Spurs, but I like
No,
this
that's
stuff.
who New York is.
That's what I'm
So
talking about.
you gonna let this Frenchman come and throw my best player to the floor?
That part I agree with.
Come on, bro. Nah.
When Al played and I covered the NBA, you know what that Wemby play was?
What?
A Tuesday.
Man.
The first quarter.
No, Al
Happened all the time.
Regular season.
Come on, bro. What
And
we talking
then
about?
somebody would answer for
So
it.
here's
I'm with Al,
my theory as to
100%.
here's what I think as to why it wasn't answered for in that game. Because I agree, I don't think the team as a whole, in real time, aside from maybe Josh Hart, realized what had happened. Maybe at halftime they were alerted to it, but going into the second half of a de facto elimination game with a 7-point lead is not the time to be like, all right, we're gonna burn a flagrant foul possession. You know what? So they wouldn't have made if they were unaware of it until halftime. I think the situation of the game never allowed for the proverbial plunk the opposing batter in a blowout in baseball.
Can I offer a dissenting opinion?
Sure.
When did Brunson get lit up on the baseline? Third quarter?
It was
Castle.
That was third or fourth, yeah.
That wasn't this, but that was very similar to the Carter Bryant, all right, free shot at you.
Carter, yeah.
And it just feels like, to Al's point, that Jalen is getting roughed up, that you wouldn't see other superstars.
Well, no, it's the way Wemby was getting roughed up, and Wemby has started to protect himself in different ways. It's also, so here, my other reaction is this. That is not this, the Wemby play, is a flagrant foul. And I am...
No way.
You disagree?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. It is, let me just say this quickly, Bruce. Sorry, I paused a long time. I apologize. The NBA has looked the other way twice on Wemby.
Yeah.
And one was not fining him for the Naz Reid play and not suspending him for the next game, which I didn't think they should, but I thought it was on the board. They didn't fine him for skipping the media. He, in the meantime, has, we think, told Luke Cornett to go hit, hard fouls. Congratulated Carter Bryant.
Olynyk for the record. It was.
It was what's his name?
Biombo and Olynyk.
Not Olynyk.
Plumlee.
Mason Plumlee. Yeah.
I understand why you got him confused. I totally get it. But he said hard fouls to them.
Or Cornett.
They're American.
One of those three.
He's an American. That's an old first things first show. All right, stay on topic. Right. The point is this. He has been flirting with the edges of inbounds, out of bounds physical play.
Sure.
And I do think it is worth noting that if they give him a retroactive flagrant, that does not mean he will ever be suspended for a game. It doesn't mean he will ever get a fourth flagrant foul point, and I would be totally fine, because just like you can retroactively give a flagrant, you can retroactively rescind one. If he does get a landing space flagrant or an accidental, he was going for a block, hit a guy in the head, if the next day the NBA is like, rescinded, he's not suspended.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, actually.
You are able to do that. But I also think this, it's totally fair that if he has another incident that is a non-basketball flagrant foul intentional, he's done enough to where him being suspended the game would not be out of line. You understand what I mean? Like if he gets a retroactive flagrant for this, and then in Game 5 does something that we think is, what Josh Hart got the thing for. Guy's running up court and he grabs his leg and trips him.
You do that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, something like that, I think his margin of error should be gone. I think the benefit of the doubt on this stuff should be gone. He shouldn't miss a game, and right now he wouldn't miss a game. But I think he's used up his free passes on this stuff, and I think that's totally fair.
Al, in today's NBA, I feel like the players aren't. I feel like they're not thinking about retaliation. It might be, give him a little bump or something, and you don't want anything crazy, but I don't think it's like when you played.
No, it's not.
Where there is an enforcer on the team or guys that kind of are more physical and take care of that stuff. I don't see anything coming from the Knicks in that regard.
I hope that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you're right. They don't think like that. That kind of mentality is kind of gone. But when you get to this point, and the fact that, like, you're playing for it all, right? This is everything. This is everything you've dreamed about. As hard as you guys work, the blood, sweat, and tears to get to this point in the season, you got to win at all costs, right? And when you look at Jalen being their number one guy, and you see that the way that they're manhandling him out there. Now, Wemby is getting manhandled as well, right? And I'm sure we'll talk about that. I think from Wemby's standpoint, I think that he thinks there's a lot of dirty things happening towards him because they're doing a lot of things to his knees, in his knee area, right? But it's also he's 7'5", so I get. Right. But there's a lot of chipping that's going on out there, but you got to protect Jalen. We got to protect him. We got to.
Have you guys, I haven't seen in this series anything done to Wemby that I would consider unsportsmanlike. I think there's been a lot of clutching and grabbing and at making him, every time he tries to flash, make him feel you. But I haven't seen anything that I thought was close to dirty-ish on him. Maybe
I think it's just a ton of holding.
Well, no, it's a lot of checking, but you guys got to watch. The one off-the-ball play I asked you guys to watch, next game, is whenever he's rolling, watch how the guards are coming over and they're hitting him.
Okay.
There's not traditional, one time is Alvarado. Last time he did something like that, where he tried to throw Alvarado that to the ground, but he didn't get a good hold of him. If you look at it, Alvarado went right to his knees. And the first thing he does, he's buckled back on his knees, and then he's like, get away from me. You know what I mean?
Is that just because Wemby is such a unique player, has such a unique build, where Alvarado is doing a traditional box out, but Alvarado's 5'10"? It's just so happens when I box out, now I'm at your knees, as crazy as that sounds.
That is the case, right? But I think for him still, in his body, in his mind, he's like, bro, stop doing that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But am I allowed to box you out?
I mean, yeah, you box him out when the shot goes up. Like that Alvarado play in particular, he went to his knees on the roll.
Yeah.
It wasn't even
well, that's how they were keeping him. They did a much better job of keeping him from the rim in the first two games, and I think a lot of that is how they did it.
Yeah.
Like yesterday,
they were hitting him early before he even got a chance to roll.
Right. Yesterday he was able to get more space to the rim,
which I was so surprised.
If I'm the league office, and then I'll shut up about this, I have to honestly ask myself, if Brunson doesn't keep his cool, does Wemby already have a flagrant foul for that? Because if after Brunson shoves him, after he gets shoved, if Brunson turns and grabs him, it's about the same height difference right now. Just turns and grabs him. And then the refs the refs come out, break it up. They go to the monitor.
Yeah, he gets a flagrant. 1,000%.
Brunson gets the technical.
I mean, you can't. Yeah.
He gets a flagrant, and nobody is arguing, that's going to get rescinded.
Yeah, 1,000%.
But because Brunson didn't overreact and kept his cool, the refs didn't get a chance to go to the monitors. Like that, That is.
Yeah, Brunson should have strategically overreacted.
Yes, if
even though
Brunson
he's so
strategically
cool all the time.
overreacts just to cause a fracas, then Wemby has a flagrant.
Yep.
No, I mean, there's no question about it.
All right, Al, you called this one yesterday. You said you wouldn't be surprised if Wemby thrived in a very inhospitable Garden atmosphere. Nailed it. Victor Wembanyama achieves New York sports villain status with dominant Game 3. Reaction
Or
to Wemby.
Halliburton.
Right, Halliburton was the last one.
Always somebody.
Reaction to Wemby's overall performance under pressure.
I expected it. Like I said to you guys, like playing in New York as the opposing player is set up for it, right? You know, you're on the stage, you're in the Mecca, you got all the celebrities there, you got everybody there watching, and you got 20,000 of the craziest fans rooting against you. It usually gives you this extra energy that you normally wouldn't have to prove everybody wrong and shut everybody up. The New York fans are so aggressive in the things that they're saying. I think there was a F Wemby chant during the game, all these different things. And for that, that's like fueling me. And like I mentioned yesterday, all the greats, every great player that has played in this NBA has had career nights in Madison Square Garden. And I expected nothing less than what he actually did last night.
Yeah, like I said, I thought he, playing in the European professional leagues, he was used to raucous, intense environments. It is more intense over there than it is here in professional basketball, just because they let you do more things over
Flares,
there.
indoor flares.
I love flares.
Right.
I like
No
it.
flares in the NBA.
Gunshots.
Right. It's crazy. They're throwing stuff at the court. So I thought he'd be fine. And look, I think Wemby's mentally tough. I think he's very mentally tough.
Sure.
And this Spurs team, and this is why if I'm the Knicks, they are still in control of the series, obviously. But I'd be concerned because this team, Castle had a quote last night where he said, whether he won or lost tonight, we still would feel like we're in the series. So if we're down 3-0, now somebody could just say that, but I think he meant it. You don't have to say that after you won the game.
Right.
They we talked about the comeback against Minnesota down 1-0, and you lose the home court advantage. The comeback against OKC, and even last night, Nick, when they start out like gangbusters, looking great, and then the Knicks just walk them down and walk by them and take the lead, and you thought it was over. A lot of people probably thought, okay, this is it. And they just come right back. They lose a lot of leads too, obviously, but they just always seem to feel like they can win. And they're not thinking about the bigger stuff of, oh, you can't come back from 2-0 down when you lost the 2 at home. And I think all of that stems from Wemby. I think he, like Castle has said, he's their most mature guy, and he's their vocal leader, Castle has said. So I just think that he's a very mentally strong guy, and so I'm not surprised he handled it.
We cannot be surprised and still not want to gloss over how, at least to me, wildly impressive that was. He is 22, he is in year 3, and he was coming off his first major on-court failure, which was the end of Game 2.
Yeah.
The end of Game 2 it's a short career up to this point, obviously, but far and away the lowest moment of his career from a performance standpoint.
Yeah.
You could say the elbow, but he didn't seem to have a problem with doing the elbow, and then his game back after the elbow was framed as if, he was a returning hero. That was not, I don't think he thought that was an embarrassing moment. Right. I think he was fine with it. This was a meltdown, I think, is too strong for what happened in Game 2, but it was a cascade of errors that led to just a horrific play that could have, and maybe it will end up, but cost his team a chance at a championship. For him to respond by every single quarter last night, I think every single quarter of that game, he was, maybe aside from the second quarter, the best player on the court. It was the first time all series that he was hands down the best player on the court for either team. I also think for the Spurs to win this championship, he's going to have to play at that level 3 more times. Yeah. I don't think they're going to win a game in this series where he is not excellent. I think that the Knicks have shown they can win a game with Brunson not being excellent, and I just don't think the Spurs are going to be able to get to the finish line if he's not able to tap into what he tapped into yesterday repeatedly throughout the series. I don't think it'll happen. I'm not going to act like it's an impossibility, but that was a resounding response to the first real on-court disappointment of his career, and he deserves massive credit for that.